Sorry about that. Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you. This time I'm talking the Flash episode, Failure is an Orphan. This comes from a proverb some of you guys may have heard. It goes, success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. At least that's the variation of it that I've heard. And it's perhaps fitting that I'm recording this on St. Patrick's Day, as that's an Irish proverb. Anyway, this episode I thought was pretty solid. Interesting stuff going on. Definitely some stuff that really highlights some of the some of the best aspects of Barry as a character, and good moments for other people, and some nice twists. So let's kind of get right into it. I did like the Joe and Cecile subplot. That was nicely done. Showed again kind of showing Cecile as a genuinely incorporated member of the cast, kind of showing a little bit of conflict in their relationship, but again they work it out like mature adults, which is how hopefully they should. I mean, they have their that was just good. And I really liked that it was Barry that kind of gave Joe that pep talk. And Joe even pointed out, you're getting pretty good at these pep talks. That made him realize it's like, you know what, he's absolutely right. I've been looking at this in kind of a dumb way. So that was nice. And I gotta say, either Jesse L. Martin is a lot taller than I've always thought he was, or the actress that plays Cecile, whose name escapes me at the moment, is really, really short. They were walking side by side in one of those scenes, and I'm just like, oh my god, one of them is either Martin is really tall or she is tiny. I don't know, maybe it was just something I never noticed before, or just the way it was being shot, but that really kind of threw me for a minute. Really liked that little subplot with Iris and Nora, kind of, just wanting to have that time together, especially with Iris wanting to have that time with Nora before Nora goes back to the future, and them ultimately kind of getting to have that nice little conversation. And I definitely loved Excess kind of just utter squee at getting a drink named after her. You have to imagine she probably grew up hearing quite a lot about jitters as a kid, and heck, it's probably still around in the future. So that's kind of like getting your picture hung up on the wall in your favorite restaurant, I guess, is kind of a way to think of it. Again, nice moments for Sherlock where he's sort of like, man, this is all too easy. This is not totally worked out. And I like the fact that he just even flat out says to Cisco and Caitlin, like, I'm going to miss you guys when I'm gone, but you guys are going to miss me more. Which shows that, he has genuinely also become a real member of the team. Which shows, again, tremendous growth from him as a character. So I've been hearing that maybe Tom Cavanaugh is looking to get off the show after this season, which would be a shame. But 5 seasons is a lot to ask for any actor, and we certainly can't say that the man hasn't contributed immensely to the show. So if this is our last season with him as a regular, well, we definitely, as fans of the show, owe him some tremendous gratitude. And come on, he'll pop back up again once in a while as some variation of Harrison Wells, or maybe they'll just have them pop over to Earth 2 and check in on Earth 2 Harrison Wells. Yeah, I mean, he's never going to be completely gone, I think. I just hope every once in a while we get to see him be Eobard Thawne again. Harrison, Tom Cavanaugh, Eobard Thawne is, my absolute favorite version of the character. Not that the other fellow, was it Matt? I can't remember actors' names. Didn't do a great job, but Tom Cavanaugh just absolutely knocks it out of the park every time. And I did like this episode, this victory over Cicada, it wasn't about, powers or punching. It was about Flash reasoning with him and connecting with his humanity. And Nora points out that this is one of Barry's really great strengths. I mean, in the comics, Barry was chosen to be a temporary Blue Lantern. The Blue Lanterns are driven by by hope, and Barry is regarded as, basically right up there with Superman in terms of being a hero who inspires hope in others. That's not something that all of the heroes in the DC universe can really do. I mean, Batman was actually tried to get they almost drafted him into the Sinestro Corps because of his ability to inspire fear in others. Guy Gardner was made a member of the Red Lanterns because of his anger management issues. Okay, so was Hal for a while, to be completely fair, and so was Supergirl, which was a little weird, but okay. Anyway, I did like that. He really did connect with Orphan through the whole, I'm a father too, and taking off his mask, which is a really bad habit. But the fact that Barry is willing to do that, to say like, look, I'm not this suit, I'm not this costume, I'm a guy, I'm a human being just like you. Let's be human together. Let's just talk person to person and see each other as people, not as enemies and not as monsters. And boy, let's just talk to each other as people. Let's not see each other as enemies or monsters. If there was ever a message that we desperately needed to hear in this world, in this day and age, this divided and divisive time, it's that. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why so many people, including myself, of course, really love superheroes, because that's, especially the DC heroes, they've always been the ones who really embody this sort of message more. And that's not to take away from other heroes who really kind of focus on these sort of moral standards, like Captain America, of course, Spider-Man and his whole great power, great responsibility thing. But I think that the DC heroes have always been the ones that really, really aspire to these loftier ideals, which can make them seem a tad hokey at times, but I don't think there's anything really silly or hokey about compassion or hope, or, as people point out, Batman probably, like, the world would probably be better off if Batman just frickin' threw the Joker off a roof. Well, okay, yeah. Or it would be more accurate to say that a significant negative, a significant malfactor would be removed from the world. But removing something bad from the world is not the same as making the world better. It's sort of, in a way, it's like saying, like, curing an illness is not the same as someone, doing exercise and eating healthy food. You're taking something bad away from the body, but you're not doing anything that really improves it. You're just making it less bad, less damaged. And that whole thing there with holding life to be sacred, even the life of people who seem utterly irredeemably evil, is, I think, a worthy thing to do. Because, again, who is Batman to decide that the Joker doesn't deserve to live? That's what the Joker does. He goes around and says, like, yeah, just because it's funny, I'm going to kill these people. The person that killed his parents. Now, the motivations for that seem to shift, but basically this is someone who had a reason to pull the trigger on some people who were just walking down the street minding their own business because, usually just money. And the idea that Batman believes that he should never be like that in any way, shape, or form. I think that's a strength. And I think it's actually kind of sad that a lot of people don't see that or don't believe that. Now, I suppose there is no small amount of irony in the fact that I say this while wearing a Punisher t-shirt. Well, Punisher long sleeve shirt, thank you. And yeah, as I've mentioned before in my videos, if you've watched enough of them, I really love the Punisher. Again, this seems very contrary, I know. But Garth Ennis, any Punisher fan knows, he is probably the best guy, or one of the best guys to ever write the Punisher. And he's flat out said on multiple occasions, the Punisher isn't a hero. The Punisher is basically a serial killer who kills other killers. He's a villain that we root for. And yeah, I agree. If there was a guy like Frank Castle running around the world, like, yeah, okay, he killed some bad people who probably were doubtlessly doing really terrible stuff, I'd still want the cops to grab this guy and lock him up, because you just can't go running around gunning people down. That's not how civilized people behave. And keep in mind, the Punisher is a comic book character. Nobody dies in a Punisher story unless a writer decides that they do. There's one story I remember. I can't remember the details of it, but basically, Frank discovered that when he had been killing some gangsters, he'd accidentally killed an undercover cop who was masquerading as a gangster. And this sent him into a real emotional downward spiral. In the real world, somebody acting like the Punisher would inevitably do stuff like that. And that's why the Punisher is fun to read about, but I would never want someone like that walking around in the real world. Anyway, guys, I think we've gotten rather off track. So let's kind of get back into it. Now, the whole thing with the new cicada. Okay, well, obviously it was Grace. I mean, just by kind of the way that they walked, you could tell that this person was female. And, well, who's the only female character in the story so far that makes sense? It's Grace. Oh, we've got Nora, who's time traveled back. Ah, another daughter travels back in time. Dueling time-traveling daughters. Awesome. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching this video. I do owe everybody a small apology. This week, again, the schedule wasn't quite as tight as I had hoped it would be. Basically, I found out my grandfather was in the hospital this week. He's okay now. He's at home. But he's 85 years old, so it was definitely a scare for me. But again, thankfully, he seems to be in good condition now. But I definitely had other things on my mind, and just was not in the mood to deal with that sort of thing. But anyway, I'm going to call it here. So as always, guys, comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you next time.